Hey everyone, it's Alicia. Welcome back. Happy Saturday morning to you. Happy Father's Day weekend to you. Those of you with fathers in your lives, happy Father's Day. Those of you like me, maybe who have lost your father, I hope that you are feeling warm with memories. I know I've spent today, at least this morning, giving some thought to my dad and all the things that he helped teach me in life and how much I miss him. So I hope that you also take a moment to think about that. And for those of you who are both mom and dad, I hope that you take a second to celebrate yourself this weekend and that you feel loved and supported. Because I think we forget that there are parents all across the world who serve the role of both mama and dad. And it's on Father's Day to think it's important that we recognize that. Sometimes we forget to do that, folks. Well, I got a whole bunch of stuff to share with you this morning. First of all, I'm wearing a making shirt. A shirt I can get paint all over because we know I'm the messiest maker. And today I'm going to be working on a whole bunch of projects that hopefully I'll be able to share with you later. Folks, I need some help with this night project. I am not a blingy girl. And I don't know why I am struggling with this one in particular. Maybe because it's a black and white project. Maybe because she likes bling and likes lace and all these like very frilly, girly things that I think I just don't make with. I'm struggling. I'm going to need some help. I'm going to show you later on. Whoa, your feedback will be very useful, I promise you. But I want to tell you a little bit about yesterday before we talk about making this weekend. So I had an appointment at the post office. Yes, folks, here you can make an appointment at the post office, which is a super great service because lining up at the post office here can be 45 minutes, folks, because people do all sorts of business besides mail at the post office here. Not just things like, you don't go get your passport here at the post office, but you can do banking. It has a postal bank, and you can cash your paycheck, and you can pay utility bills, and I don't know, they just do a lot of stuff. So it's not just about mail. So I had an appointment yesterday, and because I wanted to learn which of these envelopes count as flat mail. How does flat mail really work here? Folks, I was just amazed. You know that in America, we have to be very, very careful, right? We have to remember Shark Lane made that slot so you can put the envelope through. Don't make it too thick, otherwise they won't count it as flat mail. Folks, they don't care less here about how thick things are. No? Even this envelope, which in America would never go out as flat mail because it has a tiny little bit of bubble. This isn't like the thick bubbler from the Dollar Tree. I brought this from Florida. This is like the thin bubble mailer. Oh, you can't send this as flat mail. In the U.S., it won't count. It does here. And even these 9x12s, these big 9x12s, they go as flat mail. And thickness has nothing to do with it. And yesterday, I mailed out a whole bunch of mail that was like this thick. Like I'm talking 2 inches thick, folks. And it went. Okay, so how do they do it here? Clearly it's not size. How they do it is 1 based on content, 2 based on weight. So here it has to be 1 pound exactly or less. And paper crafting counts as flat mail. If it were an electronic sent in here, oh no, that would not be flat mail. But because it's paper crafting or goods for paper crafting, like stickers and appliques and rosettes, that's fine. So I was amazed. And the manager who speaks English and who's super kind and helpful spent almost an hour with me teaching me basically how to get packages out for the least amount possible. And some of these, which I sent out, in the U.S., if you just put a letter in this size will go out at the regular letter rate. But the second you put anything in it, like a sticker pack or anything like that, you can't really get it out for that rate. You have to pay the flat mail rate. Well, folks, here yesterday, I didn't just have 1 or 2 sticker packs in. I had like 3 or 4, and it went out as the letter rate. I couldn't believe it. And then she helped me repackage some stuff because, for instance, Kathy's was just over a pound. So we took out all the stuff to take a look at what was inside, and she's like, oh yeah, don't mail goodies like this because they take up too much weight in the future, blah, 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 and she gave me some advice. But then I had to make the toughest decision. Basically, I was just over the pound for Kathy's, and so she suggested I take out the flat mail enclosure that I made for Kathy. And I was like, but we're paper artists, that's the whole point. And Kathy's all about flat mail, and I designed this for her. And she's like, yeah, well, either you can give her that, or you can take away 2 really good goodies that she's going to need. And if I were you, give up your own project. Send her the goodies. And I was like, I don't know what to do. In the end, she made the decision for me. She literally, unpackaged my flat mail wrapper, took all the goodies out, stuffed them back in the envelope, sealed it up, and was done. Sorry, Kathy. Your package is coming without a flat mail enclosure. I'm so sorry. But it's hard to argue with her because I'm able to send you stuff from here that's amazing. In the future, you will have a flat mail enclosure. I will factor that into the £1, and I apologize, but I think she was right, and you'll see when you get your package why. What you would have had to give up in order to get your flat mail enclosure. So yesterday was also Pride, and I told you here making is part of like daily culture. So it was a much more DIY feel to the Pride here in Tel Aviv than I've ever seen in New York or in Toronto, Canada. You know, usually the costumes are like super elaborate. They look like Broadway costumes. They're ornate, maybe too corporate-y. Sometimes I feel Toronto's Pride has become too corporate, or like too fancy schmancy. I loved it when it started, and it had that lovely homemade, driven by community feel. And here in Tel Aviv, it still feels like that. People came dressed up in all these elaborate costumes, but they were all handmade, clearly handmade, so pretty. I can tell you where they bought the products from on Nechala Benjamin, or that they went thrifting and then added stuff like the trim from Nechala Benjamin. It was amazing, folks. So I just sort of sat around in awe watching all of Tel Aviv participate. And what was so nice is that all their friends participated here. So people came in groups of like 8 or 10 all dressed up, and it was a real feeling of festiveness in the city. So I didn't do any hauling or any shopping. I just did lots of people watching, and it was amazing. It was truly amazing. Now, folks, I do want to say that what I also learned at the post office that was a little shocking is that mail did not really go out here last week. So, you know, I told you it was a holiday. That's why we went to the desert. It was a holiday called Shavuot. And for those of you familiar with the Torah or the Old Testament, then you know that that's the holiday that celebrates like milk and dairy products. And here it's unofficially the start of summer, sort of the holiday that kicks off the summer. Well, I knew that the post office was closed for 2 days. Folks, mail did not go out last week. They processed mail. I know I got a couple of packages from LA, so some mail must have come through, but they didn't really send any out. So I need to extend the record challenge by at least a week, because I did not factor that in when I did that. I did not think that they would hold mail for a week. I figured, okay, 1, maybe 2 days, but a week? And when I asked the manager about it, she was like, well, we processed mail. It's not like we didn't work. And what does it matter this week or next week? I'm like, what? She's like, seriously, what does it matter? So, you know, Israel's funny. On one hand, they provide this amazing free service where they spend 45 minutes to an hour with me, packaging up my Happy Meal, making sure I'm doing it at the least expensive rate, so patient, helping me figure out how to do things properly and inexpensively. On the other hand, mail just doesn't get out for a week. Oh well, no big deal. So that's what I mean by you sort of have to learn how to manage here. Life is more important here than the ticking clock of the workday. And sometimes that takes a little adjusting. So I am going to have to extend the challenge by a week at least, maybe 8 days, to make sure that you have enough time to create without feeling like you're creating under pressure. And Miss Crafty Michelle, it turns out that you're likely to get yours first because you're in the UK. It's very fast to get mail from Israel to the UK. It actually takes longer to get it to the US than almost anywhere. But folks, even here, it's more expensive to send to Australia. Even here. The first thing she said to me is, oh, Australia, expensive, don't send there. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, it's one of the only countries we don't have this inexpensive rate negotiated with. And I was like, are you kidding, here too? So I don't know. It's so strange that Australia seems to be, no matter where I am in the world, it's expensive to send to Australia. However, it is much less expensive to send from Tel Aviv to Australia than it is from Florida to Australia or Brooklyn. So I am going to be sending packages from here to my Aussie friends because it is so much less expensive, folks. So it's more affordable to do so from here. So I'm going to send out as many as I can. You know, we have to figure this out, but clearly Alicia and Alice both have pen pals in America, so they have figured out how to do this affordably. And I guess what we need to do is ask Alicia, hey Alicia, how do you do these swaps so that it's not so expensive? Would you mind letting us know or giving us like just a short video on how you swap with people in America so we know? That would be so helpful. And maybe I'll leave that comment for her on her channel too. All right, folks, today I'm wearing this shirt because it's OG, it's a making day, and we all know I'm the messiest maker on the planet. I'm going to have texturizing paint and, oh my gosh, paste and paint and all sorts of things all over me today, folks. I am struggling with nice thing. I am not a blingy, lacy girl. I'm going to share it with you later, but folks, it needs a little help. It needs a little help, so any feedback from you will be greatly appreciated. I tried prototyping this. It didn't help. I just think I'm not a lacy blingy girl. It had very specific requirements for this: black and white, lace, bling. I'm doing my best, folks, but it's not looking that good. But we'll see what you think at the end of the day. And I am working on several pieces for Danielle, and I even maybe will share some of those with you later today. I hope so. It is Father's Day weekend, so again, happy Father's Day to everybody who is celebrating. And I do hope that those of you who are serving the role of both mom and dad, that you two are being celebrated this weekend. And that's it, folks. I'm off to see what you're doing, and happy Saturday to you. Take care and bye for now.